Ladies and gentlemen, we have a crazy cover-up going on, in my opinion, that involves every level of the liberal establishment and government. Now, maybe I'm just being a little silly, but this is a crazy story. An innocent bystander was fatally shot at a No Kings protest in Salt Lake City. I'm just going to say it right off the bat. The organizers of the protest shot randomly into a crowd and killed an innocent guy, and the police arrested one of the guys who got shot at. And now here I am. I'm going to say it. Stop making me defend Antifa.
What I also want to know, too, is why didn't these guys have their less than lethal rounds?
It's not legal.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
So cops have that, but
no, these weren't cops. These are regular.
No, I know.
Yes.
So cops have the rubber bullets.
You're not allowed to have that.
You're not allowed to have rubber bullets.
correct.
You're only allowed to have real bullets.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So there's a group called Five.
I get it now.
I hate this group with a passion because they call themselves 5051, but it's not 5051. It's 50501.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 5501, but they call themselves 5051. So you can't accurately say it to a person so they can search for it.
Right.
Anyway,
501, you could say that.
5501 organized the No Kings protest. 5501 is responsible for many of the protests that were organized, and they stated on Facebook they were directly involved in the shooting of an innocent person, and the police arrested the guy they shot at. Now, there's video. I'm not going to show the full video because the video, it's just a panning shot from a rooftop. But there are stills. The first thing I want to show you is this. This is from Utah News Dispatch. Man dies after being shot in chaotic scene at Salt Lake City's No Kings protest. They go on to say, in a Facebook post by Utah's 50501, the group that organized, it's working with police saying, quote, our team was directly involved. We have been in direct contact with law enforcement. Some of you seem to think a keyboard or social media gives you a free pass to be nasty and accusatory. Our teams just had to deal with something extremely traumatizing, and when faced with personal risk to their own lives, chose to run toward the danger in order to serve the community. Lies. The video that was released shows a far left guy in black bloc. He's wearing all black. He's an Antifa guy. He's carrying a rifle legally pointed down. Two peacekeepers from presumably this group, they're saying they're involved, are holding pistols, pointing it at him, and they fire 3 shots. The dude ducks after getting shot at and runs. They had already shot and killed the guy when this guy started running. The narrative they're putting out is they saw a man manipulate his rifle, and then when they yelled at him to stop, he ran into the crowd, so they opened fire, and someone got caught in the crossfire. But when you watch the video, you can clearly see that is not the case. Now, the police arrested the dude who got shot at. It is not illegal to carry a rifle. Utah's permitless open carry.
Why didn't they arrest the people that shot the guy?
They are covering up the fact that liberal organizers shot randomly into a crowd and killed a guy.
Insane.
And the crazy thing is, I'm finding out a lot of people have no idea this happened.
Yeah, we had viral stories about this all weekend at the Post Millennial.
So I'm going to show you some stills, not the actual shooting. Let me see if I can.
Is that the guy's name?
Gamboa is the guy who got arrested.
Got arrested.
Now take a look at this. You can clearly see this is a video that was a panning shot from a rooftop. You can see his rifle is pointed down. He's wearing all black. There may be issues of him wearing a mask and carrying a weapon, but I doubt it. I don't think that makes sense. And here you can see this is one of the guys wearing a green vest associated with the event, aiming a pistol at this guy. There's another man slightly to his right. I think we can grab that. There's another guy slightly to his right. You can see. We'll pull this one up. Also aiming a gun towards Gamboa. Wow. And they say Gamboa, when first shots were fired and started to run, the rifle was pointed down the whole time. He wasn't aiming at anybody. This is the guy that got arrested. Liberals on social media are calling Gamboa the shooter. Here I am. You got me defending Antifa.
Yeah.
Of all people.
Yeah, because no one wants to read past the headline.
Nobody on the left wants to admit that their protest, that their organizers shot and killed a guy.
Yeah, these are the people who organize themselves every 7 years to say that police should shoot more people in the leg or something, right?
Yep. Imagine if it was
It almost gives me a little bit heart that there's like still a hard left out there that knows how to operate and hold a gun in public. Keep it pointed down, boys. I know my rights.
I mean, look, I don't know that and there's anything good about having a hard left out there. They've caused absolute chaos across the country for the past 5 years. The left in the U.S. has been a big problem, and I can't see a silver lining.
No, I'm keeping it light, Phil. I'm
Police
making.
were,
You're right about it.
Police have
Here you
said,
go. They say this. Police accused Arturo Gamboa, 24, of brandishing a rifle at demonstrators and running away from 2 peacekeepers who ordered him to drop the weapon. Police said Gamboa and Alu were both struck by gunfire after one of the peacekeepers fired 3 rounds. There's video. This dude's not brandishing a weapon towards
police
anybody.
said that he was holding it in a firing position.
This is really weird.
Like, so he's probably got his hand on the...
This is a very weird story.
I mean, just the fact that the dudes that shot people didn't get picked up is super, super weird.
They're called peacekeepers. So clearly,
point taken.
It's so Orwellian.
Clearly.
You know, they're obviously foot soldiers for domestic terrorists, but they call themselves peacekeepers, so the state protects them.
They're like the what is it, the Legal Watch people at all the protests. You know, they wear the little green hats and they're there to tell you what your rights are. What are they called?
I have no idea.
You guys don't know about this?
No.
You know about this.
About what?
You know, like at protests, at big protests, they'll always be like the lawyers people.
The National Lawyers Guild.
Yeah, and they have their little hats.
Green hats.
Yes.
Yeah, they're a progressive activist group
exactly.
masquerading as a neutral legal observers.
Yes, legal.
If you join that
legal
group, you have a better
observers.
chance of becoming a Soros-funded DA, et cetera, et cetera.
Probably. The National Lawyers Guild show up at protests. They wear green hats and they say we're just legal observers. They're actually progressive activists that are down there and they get paid, and their purpose is to defy the police. So there's never an instance where a legal observer will defend someone who's conservative or a cop. It's only ever in service to the insurgents, to the violence, to the riots, and the protests. So this is going to be interesting. That how this plays out. There's another video where the cops are running into the crowd and they're all screaming and pointing at the Antifa guy. But I'm wondering, it's not good that Antifa is getting up in black bloc and carrying rifles into protests
at all.
They've been doing it for a long time. They were doing it in 2020 in Texas. That's why that guy got killed. You know. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. The guy that was in his car?
Yeah. He shot.
I don't know if that guy... I don't think that...
He wasn't... No, he wasn't Antifa. The guy he shot was like Antifa guy.
Yeah, I don't think that's actually the case.
Look at this. They're saying...
out of his car?
He did shoot a guy, but I don't think he was an Antifa guy.
Who did?
Who wasn't an Antifa guy? The shooter or the guy who got shot?
The guy that got shot. So the
He
guy
had
that
a
had
mask
an AK.
on his face.
He had
Yeah.
an AK, and he walked up
He
to
had
the
a
guy's
bandana.
car.
He was not an Antifa guy. He was
wasn't?
like a libertarian ANCAP guy.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
He was not an Antifa.
Check this out. They say 2 peacekeepers told investigators they saw Gamboa leave the crowd of demonstrators and move into a secluded area behind a wall, which they found suspicious. One of the peacekeepers told investigators then he saw Gamboa pull out an AR-15 style rifle from a backpack. The peacekeepers then drew their firearms and ordered Gamboa to drop the rifle. Witnesses reported to authorities that they saw Gamboa lift the rifle and run toward the crowd while holding the weapon in a firing position. That is a lie, and it's on video. Absolutely insane. And I bet you the quote-unquote witnesses were friends with the organizers because this is what the left does. And, well, look, not that this guy who's getting charged is a Trump or anything like that, but they're going to throw under the bus anybody who's politically inconvenient. So when you've got organizers from the event shooting and killing an innocent guy, they're going to say, no, they're the good guys.
It's really
Don't
important.
look at us.
So my first time covering a active shooter situation was at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally last July. And one of the things that I was told by my boss and friends who had more experience with this before was make sure that when you're doing voice interviews, like take people who are willing to put their name on it. Witnesses say, have detailed documentation of this, because one of the things that myself, and a bunch of other people saw was not only crooks go down on that rooftop, but we also saw people running through the crowd that we thought had weapons. That at the time, there's a lot of speculation now about a second shooter, but at the time we thought there was a second shooter amongst the crowd, and people were saying that actively. And so that, at least from my experience, gives a little bit more credence to the idea that this is something that is going towards a yet another cover-up of left-wing violence. And I don't want to distract us from what actually is going on in our country. But I will say, glimmer of hope from our last subject, Sean Parnell, who's a patriot who was there at that Butler, Pennsylvania rally, who was, I saw, physically pulling people out of Butler who were struggling to walk and things like that because they were elderly or fatigued. He is now the one of the DoD spokespeople. He said, American forces are maintaining their defensive posture, and that has not changed. We will protect American troops and our interests. So hopefully they were watching and they saw how upset we got.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.